Hey everybody, I'm back with another furry horror story. I don't want to keep making bad stories, but you know what? As a furry artist, the screwing never stops. So I might as well entertain you guys with my stories. Today, I'm going to be talking about, as you could probably tell by the title, the worst commissioner I have ever had. Like, ever. Now, that's not really saying much because I don't get a lot of commissions for some reason. That sounded really vain. I don't get a lot of commissions. I think mostly because I just don't have the marketing skill down, or I post at odd hours because I have a day job, and the only time I can really draw and post is at night, and then by that time everybody's settling down to sleep or whatever. That's besides the point. Anyway, so this story begins by this girl on Instagram. Let's call her Manny. By this girl, Manny. She follows me. I check out her profile. Now, I usually don't follow people back unless their art is, something that I enjoy. And her art wasn't the best, but I could tell that she was definitely trying. She was trying to improve, and she seemed, very polite and very nice and very sweet, so yeah, what the heck, I just followed her back. A few days later, I see a post that she made asking for an artist who could design a t-shirt for her. Now, my day job is actually designing t-shirts and designing logos. That's what I do all day. That's my job. I love doing it. So of course I commented, hey, I'm an actual shirt designer, DM me if you're interested. So she messages me on Instagram when we talk about prices and we talk about how long it's probably going to take, and she gives me the idea of what she wants her design to be. Now I quote her at $50 and she's like, "Oh, that's a little steep." I'm like, "Okay, how about we do $20 for the art, and then you can just buy the shirt from my Redbubble, and then I get I don't even know how much I get from, $10 or something." And she's like, "That sounds fair." So we agreed on $20 for the artwork. Now, her artwork wasn't that complicated. She wanted her character in a Ramune? I'm looking up how to pronounce it. Ramune? Okay, oops, sorry about that. She wanted a Ramune bottle. She wanted her character in a lychee flavored Ramune bottle. Oh my god. Ramune bottle. So easy enough. I'm like, okay, I'll get you a work in progress this weekend. Work's super busy, so I'll talk to you then. A couple days go by and the weekend rolls around. I finally sit down and I'm able to get her sketch. Now, my art process is just get the shapes down first and then get a general idea of where you want things to be placed. So I preface the work in progress screenshot by saying, this is really rough. This isn't what it's going to look like in the end. I just want you to confirm the position and the scale of what you want your character in this bottle. So I send it to her, and she immediately, there's some red flags, and she's going on about how the face looks weird, how the foot isn't proportionate, how the tail's in a weird shape. I'm like, listen, I know it looks weird. I'm just confirming the position, her position, and the scale, how big you want her in this bottle. And after literally 2 minutes back and forth trying to explain what my first sketch is supposed to look like, she finally is like, "Oh, okay, yes, I like the position, the size is great, thank you." And it was pretty late by the time we finally got this resolved. So I went to bed, and the next day was a Saturday. So I was working on commissions all day, and I got to hers. And I did the secondary sketch, which cleaned up the face, which made, details more prominent. Was a much cleaner sketch. So I sent it to her. She says, "Can you make the tail a little bigger?" Fine. That's perfectly fine. Just, standard commission process. So I make the tail bigger. I fix the position of the tail. I send it back to her. She said, "That looks great. Thank you." No, I don't know what happened, but I couldn't get to color, or I couldn't get to lining for a few days. When I finally line, it actually looks really clean. I was really proud. And she said, "I love it. Proceed to coloring." It wasn't her exact words, but you get the idea. So I spend I'd say a couple hours coloring. Her character wasn't super complicated, but she did want it pretty realistically shaded. And I haven't really spent a lot of time drawing glass bottles. So it took a little bit of time for me to get the technique of drawing glass and, trying to incorporate that into the design. And that wasn't included in the final hours I spent, because that was just me trying to teach myself how to do this commission. The commission probably took me 5 hours to color and draw and line, and then teaching myself how to draw a glass bottle probably took me half an hour to an hour on top of that. So it took me quite a while, but it didn't take me a super, super long time. Anyway, so I send her a screenshot, a low-res screenshot with my logo pasted over as a watermark. And she says, "I love it. Thank you so much. I'll get you paid by the end of the week when I get my paycheck." I said, "Okay, just give me your PayPal when you get paid so I can give you an invoice." She said, "Okay." 3 weeks later, literally 3 weeks later, I haven't heard from her once. I DM her, I'm like, "Hey, can I have your PayPal so I can invoice you?" And she asks me what an invoice was. And I sit there kind of dumbfounded, you agreed to have an invoice, but you don't even know what an invoice is? And this is a girl who claims to be 18 years old and have a job. But there were just so many things about her that screamed 13 or 14 years old who has no life experience. Maybe she's mentally disabled. I don't know. It was really weird how she acted and how she responded from here on out. So she's like, "What's an invoice?" And I explained to her what an invoice is. She's like, "Oh, okay. Can I see the art again?" So I resend her that low-res watermarked screenshot. And she's like, "Oh, I don't like it." I'm like, "What? You told me that you loved it 3 weeks ago. What's the deal?" And she's like, "Well, I decided I don't like it anymore." I'm like, "You can't just do that. You can't just you say you love it or you're gonna pay me." Now, I was stupid and I didn't request payment up front, and I've learned my lesson. But at the same time, that's a really shitty thing to do. You can't just say you love a piece of art and then when you don't want to pay for it, say you hate it. That's stupid. So, anyway, I am like, "You know what? If you don't pay me for this art that I've spent 5 hours on, I'm going to put a artist beware on you." Now, I am definitely against call-out culture, because especially in the furry community, it's gone way too far, and I've been on the receiving end of that, and it's awful. It destroys your reputation, and it destroyed my self-confidence in my art, and I was told that I was unoriginal. Anyway, that's a story that I've already covered, and I'll probably put a link to that in the description if you guys even care. Anyway, so I'm like, "If you don't pay me, I am going to make an artist beware on you." And she's like, okay, I'll pay you. What's your PayPal?" I'm like, "I need your PayPal so I know you won't refund it, or, She's like, "No, I need your PayPal." So I'm like, "Whatever, I just want to get paid." So I send her my PayPal. She sends me the $20. I'm like, "No, if you refund this, I will definitely put a beware on you, even though you paid, right? So it's not even paying. She's refunding her money. The next day, literally not even 24 hours later, she does a silent claim and the $20 is gone. So she blocks me after paying me, which was weird because, I don't know, I guess it makes sense. Anyway, she blocks me, and then she refunds the money. So I make a beware on Facebook, and a lot of people were like, you know what, you were in the right, she was in the wrong, I'm sorry you got scammed, blah 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 blah. And she saw this post, and one of her bigger friends, who I didn't know was her friend, who I was following, made a beware on me, saying all these lies on how I was manipulative and how I scammed her. I'm like, no, she scammed me. She had me put 5 hours into this art just to get $20 given to me and then taken right back. That I was scammed, not you. Like, what are you? So I contact the friend, and she's like, you know, I send her all the screenshots of all me saying, how's this, and all her saying, oh, I love it, that's great. And so her friend was like, okay, I see, like, you know, she's done this before, but at the same time, I have to defend her because she's my friend. What? If my friend that did that to an artist, I would no longer be their friend. And it was so weird. I was like, okay, whatever. So the big friend blocks me, still has a beware up, and at this point, I'm like, am I gonna have to, like, get legal action for slander? And I'm like, okay, I don't want to get any legal team anything to have to do with, like, freaking furry drama. That's stupid. So I made a post. I'm like, so it's come to my attention that some people are slandering me in their stories, making bewares that aren't true. If this continues, I will have to contact my legal team to get something done about it. The very next day, or the next time I could check on my Shade Spy account, the highlight and the story was gone. So that was semi-resolved. And to this day, I get multiple DMs from people, not a day, but at least like 3 a month since this happened. This happened like 3 months ago. So I've gotten a total of around 9 or 10 DMs telling me how awful this girl is, how awful Manny is to her, how she has scammed them out of artwork, and how she treats apparently she runs an adopt account, and how she treats her adopt admins, I guess. So this girl is overall a bad egg, but I am the only one who's put out a beware on her, which is weird. And I think it's because she's friends with so many big furries, and she lives in Texas, and there's tons of Texas furs, and they're all kind of like in this niche, like, Texas furry family. Anyway, she's friends with some big Instagram furries, and so I think that's why people have been so afraid to put bewares on her. But I don't know. It was awful. I was so angry for like a week. I just could not let this go. I wanted my justice, but in the end, I never got my $20 back, and I learned my lesson. I require 50% or whatever upfront for artwork now, and I don't get that many commissions, and when I do get commissions, it's usually just like a $2 YCH thing. But yeah, it was definitely a learning experience, and Manny, if you're watching this, you're a piece of crap, and I hope people don't ever commission you and don't accept your commissions. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening to me complain about how awful furries are. Until next time, bye.